Mom, whenever we go to the forest to get firewood, I always hear a strange drum beating. Who is always playing that drum? My daughter, that drum is demonic. Never in your life go close to the drummer or close to the sound. Are you hearing me? This is the reply I always get from my mom whenever I ask who was playing the drum I always hear whenever we go to the forest to get firewood. I could not get over the sound. I've tried on numerous occasions to see the person that was playing the drum, but I was scared as everyone in the village will always call the sound a satanic sound. But deep down, I want to see the drummer and I need to do this alone with courage. Whatever happened to me in the process is my fate. My name is Ogechi and this is my adventure. Once upon a time in Ago village, there was a beautiful lady called Ogechi. A lot of people call her Chichi because she was the most beautiful girl in the entire village. One day, Ogechi went to the forest to fetch firewood and she heard someone playing a drum from afar. Ogechi kept hearing the sound of the drum playing her favorite song. So Ogechi left her firewood and decided to go see the drummer who was playing to her favorite song. So Ogechi started following the sound of the drum in order to applaud the drummer. Ogechi kept tracing the sound of the drum in order to meet the drummer. While she was following the sound, suddenly the sound started going dim and was reducing. Ogechi was so surprised at what was happening. Suddenly, she got to the point where the sound was coming from. Ogechi couldn't find any drummer nor a drum there, so she was scared and she quickly ran to the spot. She left her firewood and picked her firewood and ran home. Ogechi got home but couldn't erase the thought of everything that has happened in the farm. The thought was all over her head. She slept that day and even had a dream about a strange drum that was playing in the dark and she was dancing to it. She woke up the next morning looking confused and frustrated and decided to look for the drummer who was all over her head. So she quickly rushed to the forest in order to find the drummer. She kept walking through the forest for a very long time, but she couldn't find anybody or heard any sound. She got tired and decided to sit down and have a nap. While she was resting, she heard the drum playing again. She quickly stood up and started following the sound in order to find the drummer. She kept tracing the drum that was playing to her favorite music for a very long time. Suddenly, she saw a rock, a very big rock, and she discovered that the sound was coming out from the rock. She got close to the rock and called out, "Who is there?" But no one answered. So she summoned courage and decided to walk inside the cave. And she saw a boy playing a drum. The boy's name was Okon. Okon, who lived with his poor mother who was always sick and would need to play the drum every day to keep his mother alive. Okon and his mother were banished from the village as a result of a crime their father committed. So they left the village and decided to live in a cave since no one wants to associate or have anything to do with them. Okon's mother saw Ogechi and was surprised and she asked, "Young lady, can we help you?" Ogechi said, "I heard this drum sounding from afar and I decided to trace it because the drum would always play to my favorite song." Okon's mother welcomed Ogechi and gave her a seat. Okon continued hitting the drum while Ogechi will sing to it. This made Okon's mother happy, as no one has ever visited them from the village, as they were tagged evil. The rejection made Okon's mother sick, that it was only the drum Okon always played that keeps her alive. It was a magical drum given to Okon by his father. Okon's father died of depression due to the rejection he suffered from the villagers, from a crime he knew nothing about. No one will associate with them or sell anything to them, nor give them a farmland to grow crops or rear animals. This rejection led to the death of his father, and the same rejection is about to claim the life of his mother. Okon's father died, leaving behind a magical drum for Okon. The drum is known to heal the sick and also to perform strange miracles. Ogechi had a lovely moment with Okon and his mother and finally decided to go home when it was dark. But she couldn't erase the lovely fun she had with Okon from her head, as she would sing and dance every minute while at home attending to her house chores. The moment she saw her mother approaching, she would stop singing immediately, as her mother have warned her not to sing such song in her hut. But the melody of the song wouldn't leave Ogechi's head. Ogechi would sneak out on numerous occasions to visit Okon and his mother, without telling her mother where she was going to. One day, while she was sneaking out, not knowing her mother was watching her, Ogechi's mother tiptoed and followed her. Ogechi looked left and right without seeing anyone, decided to walk into the cave where Okon and his mother lives. Ogechi went into the cave, sat down and started dancing to the melody the drum was bringing out, not knowing her mother was coming after her. Suddenly, Ogechi's mother walked into the cave and rained curse and insult on Okon and his sick mother, and dragged Ogechi by her hair back home. Ogechi's mother brought her back home and gave her a serious punishment and banned her from leaving the compound. This made Ogechi angry and was so unhappy. Ogechi became depressed and was so unhappy because she could no longer go out to see Okon or listen to the melodious drum again. She cried morning and night, but Ogechi's mother wouldn't care, because she doesn't want Ogechi to have anything to do with Okon and his mother, who are always called evil. After 6 market days, Ramon the gold merchant came to ask for Ogechi's hand in marriage. But Ogechi turned him down, saying, "I only want to marry Okon." This made her mother worried, and she would shout, "Over my dead body will you marry the evil Okon and his mother?" This made Ogechi worried, and the whole village will call her crazy whenever they see her in the market buying things. 3 years later, King Obi's son Uche became ill, and they took him to various herbal centers. But the sickness would only get worse. King Obi, whose only son was Uche, was willing to do anything to save the heir to his throne. So he sent out words throughout the entire village that whoever can heal his son, that he would grant whatever wish the person asked. Okon, on hearing this, decided to give it a try, as the drum he always beat was a magical drum and was capable of healing the sick. So Okon sent for the king's servant and told the king's servant that he can heal Prince Uche. The servant sent the message to the king saying, "I met Okon in the forest and he told me he could heal Prince Uche." The king asked, "Which of the Okon?" And the servant replied by saying, "Okon that was banished from the village along with his parents." The king quickly ordered the servant to go and fetch him. The servant was reluctant, saying, "My king, what will the community say? Remember, you banished them from this village, telling everyone not to go close to them or have anything to do with them. I think we should look for someone else, my king." The king, on hearing what the servant just said, shouted, "My throne is at stake here, and I will do anything to bring my son back to life. Go now and fetch that Okon immediately." The servant rushed out to the forest and brought Okon to the palace. Okon got to the palace and he was led to the prince's hut. Okon went into the hut and started playing the drum and was singing, calling out for the prince to wake up. A few minutes later, the prince woke up and started stretching his body. The king stood up from his throne in excitement and hugged the prince. The king rushed to Okon and asked him to make two requests. And Okon replied by saying, "My first request is to marry Ogechi. My second request is for I and my mother to be accepted by the villagers." The king, on hearing this, was so surprised Okon didn't ask for money. So he granted Okon's request and sent for Ogechi's family and arranged for their wedding, and also asked the entire villagers to stop the rejection on Okon and his household. The king, on Okon's wedding day, gave Okon bags of gold and a piece of land. Okon and Ogechi lived happily and they both raised beautiful kids.